Alright, well, welcome back to Lucore Automotive Services. Today we're working on another Infiniti QX80, QX56. 2011 through 2019 are all pretty much the same. This one's got about 166,000 miles on it, I think. And it has two codes in it for high fuel pressure issues. I'll look up what those codes were and let you know what they were. I am in the process of tearing it down for inspection. The car actually runs and drives, but it had a hard restart, and honestly, if it was continued to be driven, it would probably end up having a catastrophic engine failure, because the high pressure fuel pump is actually leaking fuel into the oil system, which can cause severe internal damage. So if you want to see what I do with this thing, stick around. Alright, so I've got this down to service mode where you can have access to everything, even though you still don't really have access to everything. But I just wanted to make a point. The VVT solenoids are right here, bank 2, and right here, bank 1. Sorry about that. So bank 2, or passenger side, you can actually service this solenoid without really too major of an ordeal. You can work around everything that's in the bay by moving the the coolant reservoir up and out of the way, and you can service this one. This one, however, you cannot. It comes down and hits this boss that holds this pulley. To remove this boss that holds this pulley, you would have to remove the AC compressor, the cooling radiator fan, what's it called? The fan clutch, which is electronic. It actually plugs in, is computer controlled. I haven't seen many of those fail, but Lou's did fail shortly after we did the service on his truck. But other than that, he's been driving the dog snot out of that truck, and he's very happy with the work we did on that one. That was the black one we did, I think, in January. This one actually has a known fuel pump failure. The codes are, please hold. Compressor. So this one's here specifically for a P0090, which is fuel pump regulator and control circuit open, and a P0087, which is a fuel rail pressure control system, high pressure system too low. And what that means is your high pressure fuel pump is leaking. The problem is the high pressure fuel pump leaks into the oiling system. It washes the oil film off of the pump cam lifter, the pump cam that's driven by the chain. It also flushes the oil film off of the timing chain on the passenger side bank, or bank 2 timing chain. This engine, right around 99,000 miles, had the service program. They extended the warranty on these timing chains to, I believe, 120,000 miles. And at 99,000, this gentleman had that work done at the dealership. They probably didn't have a leaking fuel pump at that time. They probably didn't have any damage to the fuel pump cam or the fuel pump lifter at that time. So those items would not have been replaced. Unfortunately, now he's got 160,000 miles on it, and he had these codes. He took it in for service, and they said he needs some parts, but they can't get the puck out of the front cover. So I'm going to go ahead and pull both of these lifter covers. This cover, pulling this cover off, is the only way to service this without taking off all the rest of this. You can do that from in the vehicle by removing the air box and some other pipe parts over here, taking the radiator hose out of your way, and you can pull that off, replace the solenoid, reseal it, put it back together, and this one you can get out without any major ordeal. But we're going to pull both covers off because I want to inspect the chains. If the chains aren't stretched, we can probably get away with just putting a pump cam and pump lifter in, if the lifter hasn't damaged the front cover too bad. If it needs a front cover, that's a different story. So let me zip off some nuts and bolts and 2 connectors, and we'll open this thing up, and you'll see the guts of the timing system without having to tear down the whole front. And maybe we'll get lucky and not have to put in chains. because they were just done 60,000 miles ago. I don't know. Do you feel lucky? My luck's usually not that good, so. But let's give it a shot. I am going to go ahead and pull the intake off, but I'll do that after I pull these because I want to be able to show you guys the timing system as it works with the high pressure fuel pump in it, so that maybe you can understand a little better what it does and why it does what it does when it fails. That one needs a new bearing. Do. Jeffrey, phone. You could probably do these in your sleep. They are getting easier. They're definitely easier than they were the first time I did it. But the first time I did it, it was in boxes, so I had never taken one apart.
What was that white one?
That was my white one. I put it all together, and I couldn't denose that one because the bolts there and there were seized, and I couldn't pull the front skin, so it was double hard. It was extra hard, that one. It was not fun. Alright, so that one's completely exposed. Let's get this one exposed. Extension. Normally I have all this out of the way when I'm down to here, so I don't need an extension for that. How weird is it that we had a total solar eclipse? We had perfect weather that day. 2 days before it, it was rainy, cloudy, and crappy, and 2 days after it, it was rainy, cloudy, and crappy. What are the odds? Austin would say it's magic. Alright, so I have access to pull both covers. I'm going to pull the sensors out the top. Depending on what we find inside, while I have these off, I am going to recommend new VVT solenoids. They are known to go bad around the mileage that this gentleman has, and they're really best replaced in pairs. If you have one that fails, more than likely the other one's going to fail within a month or so. So if you're in here, especially in a scenario like this where I have the whole nose of the car torn down, I'm going to look for everything I can with 160,000 miles. I'm going to recommend some items that are wear items or, failure items with high mileage, essentially radiator, water pump, thermostat. It's right there. That tensioner pulley's bad. I'll put a bearing in it. That idler pulley, I might as well put a bearing in it because it's probably the same age as the rest of this stuff. Everything else is looking pretty good. The solenoids will get replaced. The cam is most likely damaged. Actually, I know it's damaged. If the puck's got wear on it, let's see if I have a puck over there. Might. I think I threw them all out. So the way this functions, this is a worn puck. It only has a couple thousand miles on it. They recognized that the puck was worn through. This was on the white one I just did. And they replaced the puck just to get it mobile again, and this has very low miles on it. You can see how badly worn that is. Basically, once this has damage, it damages this guy. And this guy is driven by the timing chain. It sits right there. This guy sits on top of it. As the chain goes, it cycles this guy up and down, which drives your pump up and down, just like that. This pump was worn so far that the end of the pump was worn off onto the cam because the center of this was worn completely out. So it's a pretty serious failure, pretty expensive failure. but they're also, you know, an $80,000 truck, so they're worth fixing. They ride really nice. They drive nice. The two-wheel drive one I'm driving right now is getting 21 miles a gallon on the freeway, so that's not bad for a 6,000 pound SUV. At least I don't think so. That was really glued on there. It does not take much RTV to seal these up. But we got her off. You got these 3 seals here on your VVT actuator. You got an O-ring here. Got a hidden bolt in here. You got the same on the other side. But you can see my phase actuator, my exhaust cam, and my pump cam support. I'm actually going to pull this stuff off down here so I can see how far the chain is stretched. This one over here, the tensioner, is actually up inside behind here, so I can check that one from right there. Got Mr. Compressor in the background for some ambiance. Ooh. Yeah, that cam's wasted. No wonder it has low fuel pressure. The pump cam isn't a cam anymore. It's just round. Those pesky dowels. Oh, right in the drink. That's what I get for trying to be clean, I guess. I'm going to say it's going to need chains. This side doesn't wear as bad as the other side, and it's already halfway out. This is our little access panel for Mr. Timing tensioner. You could actually service this tensioner if you needed to. Yeah, we're going to just pull the front cover. So I'll pull this off so you can see what's going on here. This one was actually caught early. That's a change. You can see the cam, you can actually see it's grinding. But you can actually see the puck is actually still up in there. So that little guy right there is part of the lifter puck. And you can actually see that it's not even hitting, so it's only releasing back down so far. So I can see down here that our timing chain is, or our tensioner is out really far, so this chain's compromised. So I'm going to go ahead and finish tearing this all the way down, because the reason it's here is they couldn't get this lifter puck out of the cover. It's actually good news that it's all still in there. The question is, how badly damaged is this cover? And I guess that's what we're going to find out, so stick around. So I'm getting this thing apart, and I'm questioning some things. If you look at the bolts, like, I don't know when this was undercoated. I was pulling my bolts off and looking at things, the covers for the hydraulic struts, the undercoating was untouched on that. The undercoating's untouched on these bolts. So either this truck was undercoated after the updated chains were installed in it, or maybe it didn't get chains. Because even if they pulled the engine out to do the chains and didn't take this cross members out, they would have still had to remove the bell bolts, and they don't show any signs of being removed. So I wonder if he got a campaign but didn't actually get a campaign. That would be embarrassing. Now there's no way for me to verify that, but I don't know. I guess we'll keep our parts for this one so that we can identify part numbers and see if they're original part numbers or replaced part numbers. Pull our high pressure fuel pump off. It is wet with fuel. He's definitely been leaking. That's the main cause of our issues here. Now they said ooh, that puck is destroyed. Wow. I'm gonna guess somebody did that damage trying to get it out. We were told that they couldn't get the puck out of this one. And you can see the part of the puck is still, maybe you can't see, not when I have a light like that. Part of the puck's still sitting in there. It's windy today, boys. There's the piece of the puck that normally I find in the oil pan. I'm going to try and drive it out once it's off the car. Let's pull the front cover off. And what, 2 more? 3 more? 3 more. This has definitely been into previously. The RTV is definitely not factory RTV. The last one of these I took apart, these were loose, and I was kind of wondering if that was a problem, but it's probably the last guy just left them loose. Oop, got my filters falling out. So there's filters in these, in the back of these covers. They look pretty clean. There's one here, one here. I don't know if you can see that or not. There's a filter in here and a filter in here. And the dealer won't sell you those. They'll sell you a front cover, but they won't sell you these screens. So you want to try to not damage them and try not to lose them. Alright, so our chain's pretty stretched, so we're going to do chains, guides. And we'll replace all the O-rings that we've exposed. They've got 68-ish thousand miles on them, so we're in here, we're just going to do them all. Pump cam is destroyed. I'm actually surprised this thing even ran to drive it into the bay. It wasn't running well, but it was running without the high pressure fuel pump working, so kind of hard to believe. pull the oil pump off so you can see it. Oh, that almost got my foot. That would have stunk. Nissan, made in Mexico. These pumps really don't go bad unless a bunch of metal goes through them, and if about a bunch of metal goes through them, then you're buying an engine anyway. So the fuel pump rides up here and it starts leaking fuel. The fuel comes down on here and washes the oil film off of this guy. It also washes the oil film off of the chain, which makes it stretch. So the high pressure fuel pumps are really the root cause of this damage. You can see how far out that's extended. So this chain's about to start setting codes for timing inefficiencies on bank 2. When I put the new chain in, you'll see how far this shoe is actually kicked back. The back here should be about right there. So it doesn't seem like a lot, but it is. So we'll get our parts ordered and we'll start putting it back together after we clean it up. Let's see if we need a front cover. Now I will say that if you pull that pump cam out to service it and replace it, and it's damaged, then the cam on your timing chain is also damaged. It is inevitable. Yeah, it started to mushroom the outside edges. So the front cover will probably be okay, but this thing is destroyed. Well, we'll probably cut this out right here. Thanks for watching. Click like, subscribe, leave us a comment below. These are the Infiniti QX56s. This problem is most common on the 11 to 15s, but we are seeing some 16s and later ones. But it is what it is. You fix it, you move on in life, you drive it, you know, put some money into it, drive it for the next 100,000 miles, hopefully without any major issues. I try to replace everything that's a major wear item while I'm in here doing this job. It helps with better vehicle reliability after the service. I've put several hundred miles on the white one we just did, and it's doing perfect, so we're going to be releasing that one back to the customer here shortly. We have another one coming in from out of town as well, so I'll do a video on that one as well. We'll see what kind of damage it has. This one's the worst puck I've seen. So, and it's the first time I've had the puck with the center of it still inside of it. Normally they get knocked through the timing cover and down through the chain and end up in the oil pan, so it was bad and good, but we got it. So have a great day. We'll see you on the next one.